session, 759th session. So I welcome everyone to the Mind Your Mind session. The guest is today from USA, Houston. The topic is a challenge and adventure. She is going to share her experience marathon and different achievements, what she is doing continuously. But the guest name is Kanchan Kabad. It's pronounced differently, but she is very interested in sports, and she married a sportsman, table tennis champion, and she was looking after his business. Now the successor of the business is her daughter, and her son is a lawyer. So these are the small information he gave us for the introduction, and really we are very much happy to meet her and to have many information what she is doing nowadays. Actually, at this age, how she is active and she is doing wonderful and amazing things. The lot of things we discussed. Mrs. Vasanthi Madam and myself discussed, and when I am hearing, it is really amazing. So that's what I told ma'am to please ask her to talk in our forum, so that we will take those messages. It will be an inspiration for all of us. That's what we gathered this evening. Here is the evening, there is the morning, early morning they started, and they are going to give good, beautiful information, and we are ready to hear. Thank you, ma'am. Having here, this is the time for you. You can share your experiences.
Okay. So I have about half an hour to talk, or how long?
As long as we don't have any time.
I can take the whole day. All right.
Minimum half an hour.
Okay.
You can talk more than even more than half an hour. Not an issue.
Okay. Thank you. Well, first of all, actually, I really want to thank Vasanthi and Stephenji for giving me this opportunity to talk about my experiences, about my marathon, running the marathon, and my hiking. So, well, I must say, people do run for many reasons. Some people do it for health reasons. Some people do it just for entertainment. Some people do it for charity. And but for me, it's a very different reason that I started running the marathon. Of course, like Pushpa said, I was a sportsman from my childhood, but I have never run. I was not in a running. That was not my sport. It was always, I was an athlete, and I used to do shot put, javelin throws, and things like that. But I was not a runner. So not up until 2010, that is when I turned 56, this all started with, I should say, with my dad, my father, who was a victim of colorectal cancer. And once he was diagnosed, it was only 17 days that he was in the hospital. And he was already fourth stage cancer patient. So those 17 days were really the hardest days in my life, trying to cope up with everything that went on, and answering the doctors, trying to understand what it is. And in fact, Arjun, Vasanthi's son, also was my source of information about what is going on with my father, and he was very helpful at that time. So, well, after 17 days, he passed away, and it was very hard for me, and I could not really grieve for his death. So I was just bottling it up, and So one day I went to my friend's house for dinner, and she said, "Hey, Kanchan, do you want to run? I've joined this running club, and it's really nice that, if you want to join." I said, "Sure, why not?" And so I said, "Okay, let me start running at least, So next day morning, I get up and then I start running, and here I'm huffing and puffing, and I look at my time, and it was only 20 seconds I had run. And it was like, but I had that feeling that, it kind of became an outlet for my grievance. And so I said, okay, this is the best thing that I can do. And so I said, okay, I will join the running club, and I started running. So my very first 5K run I did. In fact, Vasanti and her whole family came to cheer me that day and and I was so inspired by that. And so since then, it kind of became like it was kind of addictive that I started running. So the next thing I said, okay, I registered for my half marathon in the same year, that is in 2011. And of course, no training, no, physical exercises or anything. And I was just registered for my run. And to the extent where I finished I touched the finish line, but I fainted because, I was dehydrated. I was not knowing what I'm supposed to do for these long runs and all. But one thing I did was I dedicated this run in the name of my father. So I felt that he was giving me strength to run that marathon. And like I said, I felt so good. And so that kind of became my reason for my runs or my doing the marathon. So since then, every single run that I did, all marathons I did, I started dedicating it to a cancer patient. I'll go to the patient or a survivor and help them, maybe taking them to a chemotherapy or getting them food or getting them groceries, helping them in their house and things like that. So that kind of really inspired me to do more and more runs and marathons. And so far, I have done with half marathons and full marathons and 30Ks and 25Ks and all. I've done about 47 marathons right now. And so that is just in past 12 years, I should say. And but it was a lot of discipline, a lot of training. So the first thing I did was I hired a trainer, a personal trainer, so I can build up my strength and my endurance and my physical fitness and discipline about what I eat. And, that really helps me in my running. I train a lot. I say twice or thrice a year, I go to my physical trainer. Then 2 times a week, I run at least 4 miles. And yeah, that keeps me going. And it's very, very addictive, and I enjoy it. It's more like a meditation for me when I run, because I just, I'm within myself thinking about it. And, I think your title, Mind in MIM, is that is mind your mind, right? So yeah, so that really I think is a very appropriate topic for me also, because all this marathon running or hiking is nothing but what you think in your mind. It's mind over your body, because it is basically, I would say, 80% mental and 20% physical. When you do the 26.2 miles of run, that is about 44 kilometers or something like that when it comes to full marathon. And I want to share a story about one of my runs. Of course, I run in all 50 state challenge I have done here. I've run in Chicago, I've run in Portland, California, of course, Texas and all. But my most memorable run, I would say, is my New York City Marathon. If you know about New York City Marathon, it is one of the very popular marathon worldwide. About 50 to 55,000 people run every year in New York City Marathon. People come from all over the world, and it's a very well organized run. So to get into this New York City Marathon, one can do by you have to be qualified, first of all, and or you can go through a lottery system, or you can raise money for a charity and you can get into this marathon. So for me, it was a lottery that I got into this marathon. And that too, it was actually the third time when I applied, I got into this marathon. So what happened was, I was training for this marathon, and of course, running the 26.2 miles itself is very challenging. But I want to go back a little bit here. But what inspires me are these people whom I dedicate my run to. When I run, the pain, the suffering, and everything is really nothing compared to what the cancer patient experiences. So I think of them, and that gives me strength to finish my runs. So what happened at New York City Marathon, of course, my whole family was there, so many friends, my cousins and everybody, my sister, everybody came to cheer me from different part of US to New York to cheer me on this marathon. And they were at the 8th mile waiting for me. And and here I am, started my run. And on the 7th mile, I tripped and I fell. And I heard this big noise, and I knew I had broken some bone in my body. And it so happened that it was my nose. I had fracture in my nose. And of course, the two of the runners came and lifted me. A police came and he took me immediately to the medical tent and for the treatment. And I was just bleeding, and I was in pain, and so almost about 40 to 45 minutes I spent in the medical tent taking the treatment. And I wasn't sure whether I'll be able to run. But like I said, it is really mind over body. And I said, I cannot, disappoint the person whom I had dedicated this run to. And I said, there are about 20 people of my friends and family who are waiting for me at the mile 8, and they are wondering what happened to me, right? And so I said, I stood up and I thought myself, and I said, yes, I can do this. I think the word I can is so strong that it really, it makes your mind really very strong to do anything, or I should say to face any kind of situations. So I still had about 19.5 miles to run. And I said, okay, I'm going to run. And here I'm bleeding. And they gave me some kind of a gel to put it on my face, on my nose. And I took that gel and I started running. 8th mile, all my family says, looks at me and my swollen face. And they said, what happened? What happened? And I said, don't worry, don't worry. And even my 5 months old granddaughter was there. I held her and I said, okay, take a selfie. And here they took my selfie and then I started running again. And of course, it took me a little more time. I finished the run. It took me about 6.5 hours, but I finished it. So that is one experience. It was so memorable to me. And I think that was the best marathon that I've run so far. And thank you. So these are the experiences that I have. And that's why I said it is the challenge and the adventure that I'm going through this. But I enjoy it. It's become very addictive for me. If I don't run a day, I feel very stiff. So it goes on. And then, years happened and the COVID hit, right? So 2019 is when I ran, November, when I ran my New York City Marathon, and 2020 is when COVID hit. So all the races, all the runs were suspended because, we'll be in crowd. And so to avoid that, all the races were suspended. So I was still running, and I have running buddies that I run with. So we all decided that maybe we should hike, because at least we'll be outdoors. And instead of running, we can go for hiking. So that's when I started my hiking during COVID. Of course, I have, growing up back in India, in a small town called Sirsi, which is in Karnataka. And I loved outdoors. So I was always in the hills and mountains, running around. And because, we have a areca nut farm. And so I would go in the farm and go out in the woods and also. So when I hiked, it kind of brought back my childhood. And I just loved it. I said, you know what? This is what I should be doing now. If I cannot run, at least I can go for my hiking. And so we did, with my hiking buddies, I did few of the hikes. I did like the tallest mountain here is called Guadalupe Peak. And it's about 8,900 feet high. So we went for that hiking. And while doing that, one of my hiking buddies said, hey, is anybody interested in Appalachian Trail? And if you know what is Appalachian Trail is one of the longest hiking trails here in the world. And it runs 2,200 miles of trail. It's a very well maintained trail by what is called Appalachian Trail Conservatory. And it goes through 14 states. So it goes from Georgia, state of Georgia, up until Maine, up north, along the west coast of United States. So we said, okay, I said, okay, let's do the hiking trail. So in in October of 2020, that is actually, it was on the day of my dad's death anniversary, I started my hiking trail on the Appalachian Mountains. So it started, of course, every year about 2,000 to 3,000 people hike this trail. They go, some people hike from Georgia to Maine, and finish the trail in within 1 year. And they are called through hikers. But I'm not a through hiker, I'm a section hiker. That means every month I take off from somewhere from 5 to 10 days, once or twice a month, I go and hike on these trails and in different sections. But ultimately I will finish the 2,200 miles. And that's why I'm called as a section hiker. So, and what it is this Appalachian Trail has its own culture. And the main thing is the way you go on this trail is it has its own, I would say, a GPS system. The GPS system is every maybe 20 to 30 trees, there is what is called white blaze. And it is nothing but about 6-inch by 2-inch stripe of white paint on the trees. And so you just have to follow that, and then you will be on the trail. And if you don't see the white blaze, that means you have lost the way. And so you kind of look for it, and then you come back, and then you go. And it's all fully in the woods. And the trail is, each terrain in each state is different. Some of the terrain is very, very rocky, like in state of Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, and Maine are the rockiest. So over there, it is more like a mountain climbing or rock climbing than hiking. But down south, like from Georgia, Tennessee, and those states, the trail is much easier, but it is completely, I mean, the whole entire trail is in the woods. So 2 of us, we go on these hikes. And the advantage of this hiking, I would say, is that it's not even physically challenging, and it keeps you fit. But I would say, even for the mind, it is very challenging, because especially when you go on the rocks and all, you have to be so mindful where you put your foot. So it's very, very difficult. So you have to be really hopping from one rock to another rock. And then it becomes, it's almost like an obstacle course. And it really keeps your mind so focused. And I would say it's more like a video game which sharpens your mind, because you have to be, concentrating. Otherwise, you will have a fall. And so your whole body has to be so balanced on both sides. And that's where the physical fitness comes in, where you train to have a proper balance. And I think as you grow old, balance is very important for oneself. So with all these challenges, it becomes very interesting. And I think for me, I would say this is more of a spiritual journey for me, because when I go into the woods, of course, the question is always, like, we start with, why am I doing this? Why am I hiking? Going through each day, literally walking in the woods for 15 to 20 miles a day continuously for 5 to 8 days. Sometimes I've done 9 days also, and then coming back home. But I think it's a really a spiritual journey for me, because when I'm in the woods, when there is so much of silence, I feel my breath really coincides with the wind which is there. The heat of the sun is the heat of my body, and the water that flows in the woods, in the stream, is my blood flow in my body. The vacant space is the space in my body. So, and the matter is the earth. So all these 5 elements are there, and nothing else you can explain this. It is really unexplainable feeling that I get, because I really become one in the nature, So that is the spiritual journey, I would say, that happens with me. So marathon is more like a meditation phase, but this is more like a spiritual journey for me. And maybe that's why I enjoy it more. And so far, I have done, out of the 2,200 miles, I've finished about 800 miles. And I still have long way to go, but my goal is, before I turn 70, I want to finish the Appalachian Trail. I'm 67 now, so I still have about 2.5 years to go. And my goal is to, complete the Appalachian Trail. So another interesting thing about this Appalachian Trail was actually is the trail which was done by Indians, or the Red Indians, the natives, to do the trade from one place to another. So they used to carry these, goods along this trail, and it's nothing but going over mountains and mountains and mountains, and really very steep mountains. And one Mr. Benton McKay, who got this idea of making this trail, to open it to public for the health purpose, for entertainment purpose, and to achieve something for the human race. So it became very popular, and it's almost it just finished or had the 100th year anniversary of opening this trail to the public. So that's why I said about 2,000 to 3,000 people go on this, walk on this trail or hike on this trail every year. So there is a beautiful culture in this Appalachian Trail. Each of us get a trail name. So nobody calls me Kanchan there. The trail name is given to me by a different hiker, of knowing about my background. So I am basically called as Passport, because I carry a passport. It is nothing but a book. And whenever I go to these visitor centers, when we come out of the trail, and I get a stamp. And I was just mentioning that to a person, because we stay in a hostel. Sometimes we stay in Airbnbs sometimes. So in this particular hostel, the owner of the hostel gave me the name Passport. And to my hiking buddy, her name is Indira, and she is called Data, because she's all into data. So she's basically the planner for this Appalachian Trail. She's the one who actually asked me if I'm interested in doing this trail. So she plans where we are going to stay, how far we are going to walk, what is the elevation of the trail, and things like that. So she is called Data. So whenever we come across any hikers, we introduce ourselves with our trail names. And along this wooded area, the other thing about it is you find this coolers with a lot of food and drinks, or there will be small place where they have kept, one or two people will be distributing the food to the hikers. And so they are called the trail angels, or it is called as a trail magic, because out in the woods, suddenly you find this food or drinks or, which caters to the hikers. So they are called the trail angels. So it's very interesting fact that, the culture of this Appalachian Trail, which I really, really enjoy it. And so some areas we have to put tents and stay overnight on the trails. And the Smoky Mountain Range is about 72 miles. There we have to stay for about six days in the woods overnight. So the challenge becomes is sometimes we come across bears, a lot of snakes, and up north we come across a lot of moose, and of course deer and other small animals are okay, but when we come across these big animals, it's kind of scary, but it's okay. We managed to escape and go. But up north, there are a lot of poisonous snakes. So that is something that we have to watch out. And yeah, so it's very interesting, thing. And that's my Appalachian Trail journey, and that's my marathon journey. And I just wrote something so that I thought I will not remember these words. So I just said, it's a long-term dream that I wanted to do something in my life and make it as an achievement of a lifetime. For it might be making good on a promise to myself, to challenge myself, take care of myself, and ultimately prove to myself that I can do hard things. Whatever it is that gets you to get up and show up in the morning, all those many wonderful reasons, I think that is what the marathon and the hiking the Appalachian Trail is about. It's about perseverance, commitment, discipline, loyalty, determination, tenacity, endurance, willpower, and of course, the list could go on and on. So thank you for this opportunity to talk about my journey. And I hope I inspired people. And like I said, age is just a number. It's all up here in your mind. So you can do anything, you can achieve anything, you can conquer the world. Thank you.
Kanchan, and how clap.
Thank you. So yeah, I can actually show you some pictures,
Please,
by sharing the screen.
please.
I will just go over
Yeah. I'll
So yeah, so let me share my screen.
wait. Now you
Okay.
can share. Now you can share.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Okay, this.
No, you can.
Can you see?
No, we are not seeing. Just share screen. Go to the share screen.
I did.
No,
Uh,
the green button. The
yeah, I
bottom.
did that.
We are not seeing. Now. Now it's coming.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Now it's
So basically, this is my running thing. And how do I forward it? Okay, let's see. I'll have to go back, I guess. No, cancel.
Ma'am, there is an arrow at your right-hand side. You can click that. At the end of the right-hand side, I can see
No.
it.
You can see it?
Go further. Go further.
There is an arrow. Yeah.
Okay, it's okay. It's okay. Later.
Okay.
Oh, let me do this. I will go to the last page. Okay. If you want to see my face, this is what happened in New York City
Oh
Marathon.
my God.
My face was completely destroyed. My nose was swollen. And this is basically that evening after the cleaning up, I lost 2 teeth. I had to get replaced. So right here. And so, well, that is my ugly face, I should say. But
Courageous.
yeah, this is one of my marathons. And this is my Houston Chevron marathon. And this is how I run. And yeah, this what makes me feel happy. This is where I'm greeting all my family and friends. So that's about the marathon. I just have a few pictures to show. So that's, and then, let me go back.
I'll remove it.
Oh, okay.
Now it's clear. Is it?
I want to show more, I think. Right?
Yeah,
Kanchan?
now I'll show my Appalachian Trail.
Please. Select your pictures and share.
Okay. I'm not a very computer savvy, so I'm not. It's going to take me some time.
It's okay.
Okay. So these are the.
We don't see that, Kanchan.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
Yeah, it's not coming.
Let me share.
Before.
Go to the share screen.
Okay. Can you?
No, you didn't share it. Now
I did.
now it's
Okay. So this is the beginning of the Appalachian Trail. This is called the Approach Trail. And right here it says 2,190 miles. But right now the trail is measured and it is now 2,198.4 miles.
Okay.
So that's why I said it is 2,200 miles. So this is the beginning of the trail. And so these are the rocky sections that we have to squeeze in through. And so this is the challenge that I get. We have to climb all these rocks. And yeah, these are the cabins that you come across, and you can stay in there overnight also. If you don't have these cabins, then you have to put your own tents and stay in the woods. And yeah, so these are some of the, so this is the white blaze that I was talking about. And this, of course, has 2 blazes because this shows the direction that you have to go on to your right side. So this is the white blaze that, and this particular blaze shows that you have to turn to your right. So the path goes towards right. And so this is actually the trail. And and this is when I finished my 500 miles. We just celebrated it. And so maybe I can move this over here. And then I have the, okay. Let's see. Okay, this is the blaze. sometimes the path is like this in different seasons also. This is completely, the small rocks and roots are covered by the leaves in the autumn season. And sometimes the, route is, the path is like this, where you have to cross the stream. And there are steps like this also in the woods. And this is overlooking the cliff. And you come across beautiful scenes, and it's really like heaven on earth, I should say. And so I was telling you that 2,000 to 3,000 people, they start their Appalachian journey. But when they come to about 100 miles in the woods, they give up. And so they hang their shoes on this particular trees, on the boots. That means that they gave up on the journey. So, but I'm not going to give up. I want to finish my whole journey. And so this is another mountain that we had to climb. It was completely rocky, very steep. Of course, the pictures really don't make justice, but you can probably see the elevation. And so, and this, we come across a lot of streams like this. We have to cross these also. And it becomes very challenging. In fact, this year in the rain, one of the hiker actually drifted away in this, and he died. So things like that happens, and we have to go over the narrow cliffs also. And especially in certain places, especially when we stay overnight, we carry this backpack, which weighs about 30 to 35 pounds on your back. And you have to be climbing with that weight on your body and on these rocky terrains. And so this is like a rock scramble that you go through. And over here is all fog, because up on the mountains, especially the fog covers. So the visibility is very, very low. And the gust of wind sometimes can be, actually it happened that it was like 60 miles an hour wind was there at this particular area. And luckily we could take a shelter in these bushes at that time. And so this is one of the huts that we have stayed in overnight. Also, these huts are there or on the mountains, especially in the very difficult terrain. These huts are available for us to stay. They provide you breakfast and dinner, and you can replenish your water and food and everything in these huts. And then, so we come across the terrain, which is during the rain, the smooth rocks or boulders like this will be completely slippery and water flowing on that. And so it becomes very challenging to go through this path. But we wear these hiking boots, which has so much of traction that it really helps. This is another rocky terrain that we had to cross. And I'm there over the mountain. And sometimes we have these ladders like this. If it is very steep and if the rocks are very smooth, then the Appalachian Trail Conservatory has put these ladders also that we have to climb. And that's what I'm doing with my, I guess it was like 32-pound weight on my back. So, so it becomes very challenging, and that's why I call it as my challenge and my adventure. And so this is another terrain. Up north, it is very rocky, and actually state of Pennsylvania is called as Rocksylvania because it is full of rocks. And yeah, so this is in New Hampshire, state of New Hampshire. And yeah, so this is on top of one of the mountains that we climbed. Me and my hiking buddy climbed. Yeah, this is another hut. Yeah, so we come across snow also. So we have to walk in the snow during winter time. We try to avoid the snow and rain, but sometimes, it's unavoidable. Up on top of the mountains, there will be snow like this. And so on our boots, we put what is called crampons, or those are like nails. We put that additional thing on our boots, and then it becomes easy for us to walk on the snow and ice. And then, yeah, so some of these scenes of course, I have a lot more pictures, but one incident I really want to, so this is the bright side of hiking. So when we get up in the morning, we look at this beautiful sun and we say, thank God we are alive. Thanks for that day. But one very interesting incident that I want to share with you. I hope I have 5 more minutes to share this incident. So in Pennsylvania, I came across this particular terrain, which was very rocky and very, very steep. And we were climbing down, and it was so steep. If I look down that mountain, was this Lehigh River, which passes there. And one small misstep on that rock, it's easily we can go down into that river. And we are up about, I would say about 4,000 feet elevation. And we started our walk or hike at about 7:30 in the morning. And we are walking in this rocky terrain, and we come to this spot. We literally spent about 11 minutes because we take videos of these terrains. So about 11 minutes, we are trying to analyze how to get down that particular mountain or that particular section of that mountain. Completely rocky. And it's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We have not met a single person in that during that time. And we are literally frozen at that time. Didn't know how to get down, what to do, because there is nothing to hold also. The rock was smooth. You look down and you look at this river, and it was the scariest time. And you won't believe that from nowhere, this hiker comes from below. He didn't have his shirt. He was only in his shorts, no water, no hiking poles, no backpack, nothing. He comes from nowhere and he asks, do you need help? And both of us were like, oh my God, you're God sent. And at that moment, we were praying how to get on this thing. And of course, I thought about my mother, because every day when I get out of my house or wherever I go, she always blesses me and she says, God be with you. And I think that day the God was with us. And, he came, he literally held my hand and Indira's hand, and he brought us down that particular section. And we said, oh my God, you're God sent. And that's about it. And he said, oh, not to worry. And he just runs the top of the mountain. I've never seen that guy again. I mean, you can call it as a coincidence or a miracle or something, but I think it's that faith that you have, and that's what um, it's all about. And I think it is so amazing. He is actually standing like that on that rock and holding this thing. He has a big tattoo on his back, and the tattoo was nothing but a huge wing. It was like an angel.
Oh.
And it is like the feathers coming like this, and it is like a wing. There is like a star and the moon and everything on that wing. And so you believe it or not, I will show you the picture. I will just share that particular picture of that particular person who came and helped. Let's see. I think I should have his picture right here. This is the person. I wish I can enlarge it. Oh yeah. So that is the wing, and that is the rocky section. You can see it, right?
Yes,
Yes.
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 Oh, okay. So this is the guy who comes just like that. And if you see, there is a big wing here. This whole area is like a wing, and here like feathers. And he comes, and he will hold my hand and he will bring me down of that particular rocky section. And it's a very, very, very steep section. And if you, let's see whether I can show you that valley where, sometimes we come across these in state of New York. We came across this in memory of the September 11th on top of the mountain. And so it is, it becomes very touchy, very emotional also sometimes on the hiking trail. And let me go back and see where the this thing is. No, not this. Let's see. Okay, this is how that rocky section was. And from on top of the mountain, and this is that river. And this is that section that we had to get off. And if you see a blaze right here, that means that is our Appalachian Trail path. And this is the area that we were getting down. And we just froze at this point. I took a selfie, just to keep it. Yeah. So these are the challenges. These are the adventures that I go through on this Appalachian Trail. So once
Really
again, thank
amazing.
you. And that's my journey. Thank
Wow, 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 wow. Really amazing. We'll clap again.
you. Thank you so much.
We are awestruck seeing, especially than you telling it out. When we are seeing it by picture, it's really awestruck.
Yes, yeah. So pictures can tell stories, right?
Yeah, it is.
So,
Actually, it looked like we were going through this Appalachian marathon. Yeah, actually with the pictures and the way you explained every little thing and the difficulties and the surprises and the huts and everything, and we felt like we were going through all this. Very, 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 very fascinating. Thank you very much. for allowing us to do this Appalachian Marathon.
Thank
Trail,
you.
yes. Very
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you.
beautiful, beautiful.
Prema madam, பேசுறீங்களா? Prema madam, you want to talk? Prema madam, are you there?
Sir, very good topic. But at this age, age is just a number.
Yeah.
It's again true. I think she has done wonderful trip, and there were this type of definitely at this age, no ladies would undertake staying and that continuous journey, facing the challenges. Really, God has saved her to give us this lesson to everybody. Really, very good presentation, ma. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Vasanthi ma, for bringing her here. And really, we are given a different topic, and this is a new topic to our forum actually. Very good topic. Really, we enjoyed, and may God bless you, madam. Really,
Thank
you should
you.
complete your task and get all the things which you aspire for as soon as possible. That's our wish. And thank you, ma. Thank you, Stephen, sir.
Thank you, thank you, thank you,
And
madam. Thanks for.
I think if you Google it, I think we are just really one of the two women and the Indian women
Yes.
who are doing this trail. I don't think there is anybody else. Or we actually came across just one girl who is 23-year-old Indian girl who was doing this trail. But other than that, we have never come across any any Indian women, and especially of my age. So I feel proud of that.
Really, really awesome, awesome.
So
nobody would know about it also. Nobody will think about it also. Really awesome. Thank you, ma. Thank you. Just I wanted to leave, sir, so I put the message. Thank
No
you
issues,
for
madam,
calling
no
and
issues.
getting
That's
my-
what I called you. So that you can say a few
Thank
words.
you.
Thank you, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Narayan Muthu, sir, do you want to say something?
Yes. Excellent, madam. Excellent. We are just belittled by your taking this challenge. I would like. I have some two questions. How do you keep yourself healthy for this trail? Okay, because this is a big challenge, not big challenge. It is a real challenge. It's a real challenge at this age. Of course, age is a number, but how do you prepare yourself for this trail? And the second question is only two questions. Suppose if you complete from A to B, you start from A, the starting point, you complete. Like you told that you are a section
hiker.
well, section hiker. Okay. Suppose you complete up to B. For example, it is 100 miles. Again, the next section, you start from B. How do you reach that point B?
That's a very, very good question. Actually, I missed telling you about that particular point. Your first question, how I
Prepare
keep
yourself.
up with, prepare myself. Of course, fitness is the key for all these things. So when I started my marathon, I actually hired a personal physical trainer. So he comes to my house actually twice a week for 1 hour. And it's basically strength training. So I do a lot of lifts and squats and all different kinds of exercises to keep myself fit, strength wise. But endurance wise, at least twice a week, I run minimum 4 miles, 4 to sometimes 15 miles or something like that. Saturdays are my long runs every Saturday. So morning, every morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm out going for my run. And basically, I think it all depends on how disciplined you are, how regular you are in your fitness routine. and also helps in what you eat. Of course, I'm a vegetarian, but I do eat fish and eggs because that's what gives me a lot of protein. So eating the right things and in the right proportion, and that also helps keeping yourself fit. I think that's the main thing, fitness.
One sub question. What do you carry? What type of food do you carry?
Well, actually, what we carry is our staple food on the trail has become idlis.
Wow.
Yes, idlis and boiled eggs.
How long does it sustain?
Well, it can stay because it is steamed and we vacuum pack it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, we vacuum pack it. And also we have to, look for the weight. So each, like 4 idlis vacuum packed, it weighs about 0.5 pounds. So ounces, sorry, not pounds, ounces. So because when we carry about 35 pound weight on our back, we have to measure every single thing. Even our toothbrush is half toothbrush, just a brush, a small toothpaste. And every little thing we weigh it to make it to at the most 30 pounds. Otherwise, it's very difficult to carry and go on the thing. Yeah. So we eat idlis and we take a lot of snacks. The snacks what we do is every 5 miles of hiking, we take a break and then we eat. And we carry about 2 to 3 liters of water. And that also weighs a lot. Water weighs a lot. And we carry another bottle of about 1 liter of water with electrolytes. In that, yeah. Yeah, so the electrolytes are very, very important because we sweat a lot. And so to replenish the salt and the electrolytes, we take the bottle of electrolytes in it. And there are a lot of electrolytes here called Noon or Endurolite and things like that. And so we add that to our water and we
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
So, and then we also carry snacks like maybe chips or the protein bar. And we also carry nuts, a lot of nuts with us. So that's what we eat on the trail. Yeah. So your second question is how we get off the trail. So this Appalachian Trail is, other than certain areas there is what is called 100-mile wilderness, or 72 miles of this Smoky Mountains, or the Shenandoah National Park in West Virginia. So there are few places where we really cannot get off the trail. Other than once we start, we have to finish that many miles and then we have to get off. So, but otherwise, there are what are called gaps. Gaps are the access to the road. And so the way what we do is we do 1 or 2 ways of doing these things. So we rent 2 cars and we are 2 of us, right? So what we do is we go, say, for example, A, B, C, D are the gaps. And the gaps come every 15 miles or sometimes 8 miles, sometimes 20 miles. Or we have to climb about 5 mountains or maybe 10 mountains to get to that gap. So once we start, we have to finish that many miles to get off the gap. Otherwise, we have to stay overnight on the trail. So what we do, we take 2 cars, we rent 2 cars, and I drive first A gap, or actually we go to a B gap. So we go to a B gap, we leave 1 car, I hop onto the other car and we come back to A. And we park the car we hike the mountains, come to the B gap, take that car, and then we go to the next, on this side we go and park the car. And then we come to gap A, and then we take the car and then we go to the other car. So like that, we go to different gaps. If the route is too far, if we have to drive like more than half an hour or 45 minutes or something like that, what we do is there are a lot of shuttles available for hikers. So there are shuttle drivers. So we call on them and then they come and pick us up and bring us back to the hotel or to our another car if we have got only one car. So that's the way we come. And so we come back to either a hostel or the Airbnb, or sometimes we get into a hotel also, and we stay there. And so every day, what is it called as slack packing? That means we carry a very little day pack rather than backpack, rather than our actual 30-pound backpack. So we slack pack on those days when we can come get out of the trail. Yeah. So it's it's very easy that way. And even the hikers who do through hiking, who stay all the time on the trail, every week or every 10 days, they come out of these gaps and they replenish their food and everything. They take a shower and all, and then they go back on into the woods. Yeah.
Oh, I
But
see.
luckily for us, we come back every day and then take our, hot bath. And so.
If you continuously hike for 10 days, how do you take bath and all that?
No, we can't.
You can't, okay.
We'll be towards the end of, well, we have done so far we have done at the most 4 days.
I see.
But end of the days, it's like really we become very stinky. But we do take like wet ones, the cloth,
Okay.
this thing, and then we wipe ourselves. But we cannot put any kind of a perfume or anything because we will be attracting the bears and the animals.
Yes.
Yeah. So even the toothpaste or any food we carry in what is called bear canister. It's a airtight canister that we have to carry with us.
Which will not.
Yeah. And when we hike, when we stay overnight, we have to tie this on top of the tree, with a pulley, because the camping sites, there are assigned camping sites that we have to go through. There are these pulley system where we hang these food and everything on top of the trees. But of course, the bears, they climb the trees, but they cannot reach that because we tie this in between the two trees on the rope.
Oh, I see.
And we hang it right in the center, so they cannot come on these ropes, but they can climb the trees, So that's how we avoid the bears.
Wow.
Do you carry the tents? You told that you will stay in tents sometimes.
Yes.
Do you carry?
Yes.
With this
we have to
35
carry
pounds.
No, the tent is literally weighs about 2 pounds.
Oh, I see.
Because there are ultralight tents. So all our gears are ultralight. The sleeping bag that we carry is about 1.4 pounds. The tent is about 2.2 pounds. So the heaviest is the food and the water. That is about 10 pounds each, So
Are you
then
trained
our
to?
clothes. Yeah.
Are you trained to handle snakes?
No, but we do carry like a tourniquet, ace bandage, to tie this thing. We carry the snake bite, this thing, or cortisone, this thing.
Okay.
In fact, this last trip, I just got back 3 days back from my hiking trip. And my hiking buddy actually got bit by hornet or the the bees like that. Yeah. So it stung her, and few states like Pennsylvania and Massachusetts, there are a lot of these gnats or the bugs that carry Lyme disease.
Oh, yeah,
So yeah, so we have to be watchful of that. Although we wear full clothing, it can go through our clothes, and lot of mosquitoes. And so certain areas we actually wear a net over our face, and we carry these bug sprays, and so odorless bug sprays.
Okay.
And yeah.
No communication. Sorry, the last question. What about the communication?
I mean,
No.
if you have time, I can be here. So otherwise, I'm.
No, others have to ask questions,
Oh, go ahead.
Communication during your hike. What?
We talk a lot. We talk
No.
everything. Huh?
No, mobile
Communication.
phones.
Yes.
Yeah.
Both of us have the Apple Watch, and this is a very good thing that we have it. This has what is called beacon also. That means my husband and my two children, they can track me where I am.
Okay.
So yeah, and there is a app called Strava, and that can do that, and it also tracks us, and it gives us our path and everything, so we can record our hike.
Okay.
So other than that, there is a app called Far Out. And the Far Out app is really, really good because it connects all the hikers which are on that trail, and they tell you what is coming. So we can be watchful about. If they say, oh, the stream is full of water, so avoid that and take a detour and things like that, the communication is there on that. Yeah.
Okay.
And
Thank you,
anytime.
madam.
Yeah. So
thank you very much. I thank Vasanthi madam for bringing you to it in this to this platform, and this is totally a different one so far we have seen. Thank you very much. Thank you for meeting a very challenging lady.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Tomorrow itself, Narayan Murthy sir will start eating fish and egg.
You don't have to eat fish, but eat healthy.
I have a question.
He's a vegetarian.
About,
that's what I told him.
I have a question, ma'am, about the God sent guy. Did you ever ask him where he is from and who is he and where is he coming from and all that?
Yes, actually, we asked his name. He said his name is Stephen. And he said it is such a coincidence that he said he comes from Bethlehem.
Oh,
Wow.
And Bethlehem is the place where the Christ
yes,
was born, right?
yes.
But there is a place called Bethlehem in Pennsylvania, down the Lehigh Valley River. Okay, so he basically comes from there. But it was such a coincidence that he said that I come from Bethlehem. And then we said, oh my God, you're real God.
Thank
And do you know beforehand that you have to encounter all these difficulties, ups and downs and all that beforehand?
Yeah, there is a lot of information on Google, and we have gone through, seen so many videos and everything, and we have prepared for it. But some of the videos, they actually, it scares you. So I try to avoid those, and I would rather go and get into that before even I see anything. So, but there is a lot of information on the Appalachian Trail. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Vasanthi madam, you can talk.
First of all, I want to say I'm so proud of Kanchan. I don't have to say that. Everybody knows what a remarkable woman she is. I knew she is my best friend, and we know each other for almost like 16 years, 17 years. And I admire her a lot for all her adventurous enthusiasm and everything. When on the first marathon, we were there, and she came out finishing the marathon, and we gave her some bouquet and then water and then lemon juice and all the stuff. But now, like, she's very inspirational. She's very motivational. And first of all, today morning, when I was walking, I said, if Kanchan can go 2,200 miles, I can walk 20 minutes. I don't have to stop now. So I said, after 10 rounds, I said, okay, let me go inside. And no, Kanchan can do 2,200 miles. You can go 5 more minutes and then get back. So this is like amazing. I mean, I know she's a superwoman. She's more than that. Whatever she had done, I know the way she dedicated the whole thing to her daddy. I know her father. Let me tell something personal about her, about the whole family. When you go to their house, you will feel the warmth and love. That's all you'll feel. You'll feel the whole house is full of warmth and kindness and love and welcoming. I mean, like, I bathed in their kindness so much. So I know that. The second thing is, like, her whole house, whole family supports her, cooperates with her, and lets her do whatever she wants to do. And that is very encouraging, that others have to understand also how to encourage someone who has some passion and let them do what they want. So this way, like, she's very inspirational. And another thing she forgot to tell, that she also started Indo-American Cancer Network. Kanchan, you have to say a little bit about that. She's the one who started that, and then they help a lot with all the cancer patients. And amazing with her business, they have their own JK Wealth company, and she came here as a student, and then she started that. And she's an entrepreneur, and then a sportswoman, and then all these extra activities she does for some good cause, not just for anything, so for some good cause. So I really am very proud of you, Kanchan, and I'm so glad you could come today and talk with us, be with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Say about your cancer network, few seconds, so that others will know.
Oh, okay. We call it as IACAN. That means Indian American Cancer Network. We started this because as Indians, I think we face a lot of challenges culturally and traditionally because of the food that we eat, because of our culture and religion. And so we thought there is a need for some organization that can help and support the Indian community who are affected by cancer. So that's in 2009, we started this organization with few other friends together. And since then, we have helped a lot of people, and we do a lot of outreach programs, seminars, talking about different type of cancers to bring awareness of the challenges and the difficulties of going through cancer. And then also it helped. We have a lot of we have about 10 medical advisory group, which helps in giving second opinion, or if a cancer patient wants to know about the treatment, because the medical terminology is so difficult to understand. They can call anytime and ask any of these medical advisory doctors to understand the treatment. And then also we have nutritional programs that helps in, for cancer patient, what to eat and things like that. And then in some hospitals over here, we have started a spiritual program also, where the patient can get Bhagavad Gita or some kind of meditation or spiritual tapes that they can listen to, because otherwise they always provide the Bible. Of course, if you're a Christian, the family will happily take it. But if it's a Hindu or Orthodox person, they would prefer, maybe Bhagavad Gita or a different books. So we have provided that to the hospitals. And so such things, the IACAN does for the Indian community over here. So, and we get calls from even all over the world now, So.
Thank you. Really, we feel more proud actually. We appreciate. Shugana, do you want to say something?
Can I say have a word?
Yeah, please.
Thank you, Kanchan, for letting me know. I rushed home as soon as I saw your message. And I'm the very proud sister-in-law that she has. I hate the word in-law there. I wish she was my sister, but I didn't have a choice. My brother married her. So
thank you, Asha, for joining.
So it was it's wonderful. We see all her pictures, I think, before, like as soon as she takes them, I get to see them. I'm very privileged because I'm her only sister-in-law, and she is very precious to us. I mean, I could go on. I could speak for days about her. She's always there. My daughter got married last year and says, Kanchan, what shall I do? What shall I do? This, that, and it went on. I'm going to have a knee operation. What am I going to do? She said, I'll be there on that day. And on 22nd, I had my operation and Kanchan was there on the 20th. So, and she said, I'm not going back till I see you walking. So she was there for almost a month. So only she can do it. I personally call her our superwoman. I mean, there's only one word for her. So that's all I needed to say. I can speak a lot, but I think I'll let you talk. And thank you for listening to me because I'm speaking from Bangalore.
Thank you. Really, we feel proud. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Asha.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sivakumar coming. Sir,
please.
Yes, super, man. Super, very super. Very interesting, very inspiring. Felt like seeing a Discovery Channel for half an hour, for more than 45 minutes. I felt like seeing a Discovery Channel. Very interesting, very interesting. I'm very proud and jealous of you. As you said, the age is not a number, but the age of 67, I can't believe you have done. I said, I remember 47 marathons. Am I correct? You said something.
Yes.
You have done 47 marathons. Amazing.
Yes.
And you are doing it like meditation and spiritual way. I am doing it as a daily meditation and as a spiritual journey. Good, very super. And it has become addiction to you. Super. Amazing, super. Excellent session. Thank you, sir. S.Stephenraj, thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Excellent. Particle, madam. Particle. Thank you. Super.
Okay, Pushpa, anybody you want to talk? Pushpa. Okay, otherwise, Kalyani madam.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, please.
Kanchan, wonderful. I really didn't know you had so much in your records in terms of the marathon and in hiking. I had only heard it from you, but these achievements, my goodness, it's just my admiration. You can't inspire me at this age. Maybe I will. I'll inspire my grandchildren.
You can do it too, Pushpa.
No. Your stamina, your motivation, your endurance. You know me, na?
Yeah, but it's all one step at a time. You can do it. Anybody can do it. It's all up here.
Wonderful. I had a nice insight about your achievements. Really feeling very proud. And you have told the whole world now that there is no end for achievements, right? Oh,
Yes.
or you are going higher and higher, right? So not complacent.
So,
You're not complacent, and that is the greatest inspiration that you have brought in me now. That there is no end for our achievements. We have to move on, move on. Wonderful. Really. I do not know. If you were in India, I think I would have joined you in 1 or 2 trips. But now at this age, impossible. I just can't think of it. I'll only watch your marathons. Okay. Now,
yes.
please
Thank you.
leave me when you are on your marathon, or you send
Okay.
some videos.
Sure.
We'll be really very happy to view your achievements, to view your events.
Sure.
Wonderful.
We'll do that.
Hats off to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Pushpa.
You are so proud, and my pride in being your friend.
Yes. Yes, definitely. You're my very first roommate, remember?
Yeah.
So thank you.
All the best, dear. All the best.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Suganya, one of the marathon lady in our team.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I cannot stand next to ma'am. It's like,
Well,
I'm always-
congratulations, first of all,
Thank you.
for taking that
Thank you.
step. Yes.
Yeah, I am always very scared when it comes to trial. I've done ultra. I'm basically a road runner, and I've done ultra. But
Wow.
when it comes to trial, it is scary. And after seeing you, it's also putting me into a point of guilt. I find reasons even to get up early in the morning. I find reasons. Why should I get up? I want to, at least 10 more minutes, 15 more minutes, and that will go on. But yeah, it's very inspiring, I should say. And thanks to Vasanthi ma'am for bringing you here. I don't have any questions. As I already said, I'm still awestruck. It's great knowing you.
Thank you. Thank you. So she's escaping.
Okay, again, if I want to put on, initially I missed a few moments. I don't know if this was covered. Maybe Kanchan, you can introduce the members to the different types of run that we have. Like, you have, like you said about trial and ultra. When it is in the practice, like, we do recovery runs or we do long runs. So if you can give a small brief of what are the different runs that are existing. Maybe that will benefit the members.
I think for our age, I think interval running is the best, because interval running is where you run for a few minutes and walk for a few minutes. So right now, actually what has happened is after I started hiking, my running speed has come down a lot, and I prefer doing the interval runs. So 5 minutes I will run, 1 minute I will walk. So you can just go on doing that, in the interval. And that helps you also for your heart, because heart is also a muscle. So you can raise your heart rate to a certain extent, and then that 1 minute walk will bring it down, the heart rate. So that really helps. So it's called as interval running, So you can either do that, or you can do to gain the speed and things like that, you can do sprints. So do maybe like a 400 meters, or 100-meter sprint, and then come back and then take 1 minute rest and then again do it. So you can do it like 3-4 times like that, which will help you in help one in the speed. But otherwise you have like a run, what is called as, it's basically a tempo run, it's called as. Tempo run is where you run, but at a particular tempo. And at one particular tempo, it can be very slow run, but long distance. So that's a very good run to get the endurance, So the tempo run is the best for that. So, and of course, you said the recovery run. Recovery run also running at a slower pace than what you normally run. And then, of course, recovery is more than the recovery run. I would stress on the stretches. You have to stretch yourself before you run and after you run, or before your activity and after you finish your activity. So for that, it is better to do some yoga exercises also, which I actually forgot to tell you. I do at least once a week a yoga stretches. So stretching your body, it makes you loosen up your muscles and everything. So that also helps. So is that gives you the answer?
Yeah, I mean, there is one assumption like, when we say marathon, people think, okay, this person will run, continuous long distance, like 15 kilometer or 21 kilometer or whatever.
Yeah.
So that is why, I thought of putting this question, like what are the different kinds of things that we do if it comes to a marathon run?
Yeah, I myself, on also, there are a lot of people even just do fast walking, a walk, because every marathon has a time limit. Most qualified marathons have time limit. So you have to finish the half marathon within 3 hours or 3.5 hours, or sometimes 4 hours. Full marathon before 6 hours or 8 hours, like that. So to finish the marathon in that particular time, your pace has to be per mile. You have to finish a mile in 13.45 minutes. Then only you can finish
the full route
within the time limit, So, but if there is a 8 hours time limit, you can actually walk easily, but your walking pace has to be minimum 14 to 15 minutes and a mile. So that is a fast walk. So you can achieve that also by walking, So.
Thank you.
If someone else is maybe listening this as a recording also, I'm just giving one information that there is a club in Chennai called Chennai Trial Run. They do conduct, these kind of trial activities. You can, Google that. It will give you information. Thank you.
Yeah, but to do this marathon or running, I think the most important thing is what kind of shoes you wear, because it really, you have to make sure that your knees are protected and your legs are in good condition. So people believe that, a nice tight fitted shoe is the best for running. It's wrong. You have to wear at least half or one size bigger shoes than what you wear, because when you run, your feet swells. So you have to have room for your feet to swell. So that's why it's very important that you wear a little bigger shoes. In the very beginning, maybe for some time you will feel that you are slipping in it, but you will get used to it. But it's very important, and very cushiony shoes. You can put insoles in that, so you get when you thump your feet, it is not impacting your knees. So that is very important. And the other thing that I would say is to put a lot of Vaseline or some kind of a lotion on your feet underneath, and then wear your socks and shoes. That will avoid blisters, because you get a lot of blisters when you walk or when you run, and even on hiking, when you go on those rocks and everything, you get blisters. So you have to keep your feet are very important, to lubricate that. And the other thing that I would tell you, Suganya, right?
Yeah.
Your name?
Yeah.
Suganya, is that you can use KT tape. It's kinesiology tape that you get in the stores or in the athletic stores. That helps, wherever you ache when you're running or doing the physical activity, if you put the tape, and it gives you the direction how to use the tape. And that tape really helps you avoid the aches and pains when you're running. So I normally use it on my ankle and on my knees, and so that really helps. So what it does is it separates the skin from the capillaries which go underneath the skin. So when your body swells, when you're running and everything, the capillaries capillaries are the blood vessels, right? So they get squished under the skin, and that's where you get the pain. But this KT tape, it gives way for the capillaries to move around by separating the skin from the capillaries. So that is something that you need to use, especially for ultra marathon. Wow.
Yeah, I did the mistake which you said. The first time I went, I know my nose was all, even though I used the moisturizers, the skin was full of blisters. Yeah.
Yeah. But so legs, it's very important. Yeah. Thank you for your questions.
Thank you so much for the tips.
Thank you. Kalyani madam.
Yes, sir. Good evening, ma'am. It's very nice to see you. You are a very strong woman. I should say that. I see you as a great achiever. Actually, you are a great achiever. You took marathon first, and then when you could not do that, you did not leave it. You took up with the hiking. That's a great thing. Actually, you stood up and took up your another next. What is your what is in your hand? You went for it. It's really very nice. Actually, we learned more things about marathon in this. Like when you are saying about the shoe also. One size it should be bigger and all those things. It's really, everything is a news for us. Suganya must be knowing all those things, but to me everything is a new thing. Like I don't even go for a walk. That is the thing. No walk, no yoga, nothing like that.
Start.
Maybe even when you are saying about that marathon, how to enter into that marathon, the procedures, you were saying all those things were news to me actually. And comparing this hiking with the spirituality, I see it as a very great thing actually. Maybe that is why all the siddhas and all. Today I went to Tiruvannamalai and came back now. Maybe that is why all the siddhas and all, they were looking for woods and caves and this type of hilly places. Even the temples are built in hilly places. Maybe for that reason, you may feel very good in that place and you get more spirituality, or your confidence level goes up, something like that. That's the thing I see. And I want to say about something about your friend. You call her as a data. Madam Indra, you call her, that's our regards to her also. Nice to know you, actually. It's very nice. Thank you, Vasni ma'am. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm actually very grateful to Indira, because, if it was not for her, I don't think I would have done this Appalachian Trail.
Friends are always motivating.
Yes.
Nice to know you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Is there anybody who wants to say anything? Is there anybody? Shokani, Muthuram.
Sir, this is Dana
Yes,
Meera.
sir.
Sorry
Yes,
for not
yes,
coming
Dana.
on screen because lots of guests suddenly. So,
It's okay. It's okay.
but I was listening to the whole show, and thank you, Vasni ma'am, for bringing such a wonderful personality here. And especially, ma'am, in Mind Your Mind, this is the very first time, I think, if I'm right, like a person from sports industry. So really, really, we are happy that you have really rocked, ma'am, till now. So you're very inspiration for all of us. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, and not only you, as far as I know, that even your mom.
Oh, thank you.
So
Yes.
now I can get where you got this strength.
Yes.
So thank you,
Renu.
ma'am.
Thank you, Renu. Thank you. Shukani, you want to say something?
Sir, ma'am, thanks, ma'am, to know about you, ma'am. You're really inspiring to everyone. Take care, ma'am. God bless you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very
You
much.
can be a nurse, so you can relate more. She's a nurse. She's a nursing instructor. She had done, yeah. So she, as a health wise, you can say something. So you can. No, she's gone. Okay.
Shukani.
Take a nutritious diet, ma'am.
Okay,
Ma'am?
Shukani. Yeah, do you want to say something?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
No, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Okay, right. Shall we end the session?
Sir.
Yeah. Yes, Madhura, please.
Ma'am, wonderful. Thank you so much to Vasanthi, ma'am, Stephen, sir, for this wonderful speech. Ma'am, I really wish that you complete your goal. Once again, come to MYM and then tell about the whole goal that you have achieved, what you are trying to achieve before 70. We want one more program of yours.
Sure.
We wish that you complete it, just to come back and say that I have completed it in our MYM team.
Yes, I will do that.
When she comes again, then you people should be ready.
Yes, sir.
Okay, anyhow, we will wait for her. And then in the meantime, we should do something. Everyone should do something. The whole session is telling us to do something every day and keep active. Don't bother our age. That is a takeaway today, actually. See,
yes.
I think that I am aged first.
Yeah, if I may interrupt you, I always say motion is lotion.
Yes.
If
Yes.
a body is in motion,
yes,
it's
yes.
a lotion for our body,
Yes.
and then it will keep fit, So that's my thing.
Keep moving, go to the many hills and find out to climb today itself.
You can start your journey.
Let's go to the temple, sir. It solves the purpose. Both the sides.
You can get down from 14th floor to ground floor, then up, climb up. That's enough.
No,
don't take the
Not
elevator.
necessary to go to.
Actually, sir, I want to say something. Actually, sir, I want to say something.
Just for
Actually, I
fun. Yeah,
wanted
please.
to ask about your family only. Actually, how supportive they are. Vasni ma'am has explained it very nicely. Actually, that was my question.
Kanchan has to say that she has 2 grandchildren. She takes care of them. She takes care of them. Her mother is old. She takes care of them. And everybody there is like, they support each other. Kanchan, I have to, her husband, Mr. Jayant, wonderful person, okay? And then you'd say how your family supports you, Kanchan. Family is the main thing. Like, many women stay back so that they have to cook for the husband or do things, and they don't do anything for themselves. This I see is a big hindrance that we all see. If you can say a few words, how your family supports you, Kanchan, it'll help.
I have really been very thankful for my family because they really support me in every single way. My husband, actually, Kanchan Kabad, he was a national table tennis champion of India. He was #1 player in 1970s, like in 74, 1974 to 80s. And he was playing for India, and he played for, he represented India in world championships. So he comes from the sports background. And so when I started this, I got 110% support from him. He encourages me, and he really, I must say that he's very proud of me, and that fact itself is good for me, that I can continue doing it. He has never said no if I have to travel for up north to New York or anywhere for to go on hiking. He's never said no, because he will be the one who will take care of the house and the even cooking and everything. So I'm very thankful for that, and that's the way he really supports me, encouraging me all the time. And then my mom, of course, she's always there feeding me all the time. Vasanthi knows how she loves to feed people. And so she'll, have you eaten this, eat this, drink this, and, so like that. And just being here with me and supporting me, and actually talking about me to all the people and all, that's how she's so proud of me. And that's the way she supports me. And my kids and all, because of course I have 2 grandchildren, and one is actually on the way. So I will have 3 grandchildren. And what I do, the way they support me is they actually send me the calendar, saying that, oh, these are the days, I send them the calendar saying that these are the days I'm going for hiking, so I'm not here. So that way they know, if I'm not here, and they always wish me whenever I go, and they call me and they make sure that I'm okay on the trail. And when I send the beacon to them, that means they trace me to make sure that I'm okay. And so that's how they support me. And of course, my sister-in-law, who just talked about me, so proud, she always has the encouraging words for me. And that really, she's my rock. So yeah, I think that's how.
Thank you so much, madam. Let us have one more clap for her.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Really amazing. There is no words to express the whole thing. It should be felt, and we should take action. That is what you conveyed. Okay, there are a lot of messages. At this stage, you are doing so many things. Well, what about us? That's what we made it as things. It is stimulating every time. So we keep remember the whole session in every day.
Thank you.
That is the thing we need to.
Yeah.
Please,
the last thing I want to say is that, you really don't have to start like what I'm doing, marathons or hiking or anything. As long as you do small things like, walk as much as you can. You can do stairs. If you have stairs, you can go up and down rather than taking the elevator. Or, walking, like if you go to the temple, do more pradakshina for the god and walk that way, so that you get the spiritual thing also. So if you have a car, park it far so that you walk to the place that you have to go. Things like that, if you can do, that itself is enough to begin with, So, but motion is lotion, so keep going and be healthy and happy. I think health is wealth. So once you have that, you are always happy. So
really, thank you, ma'am. Really, so proud of you. We feel more proud, and we should thank Vasanthi, madam, bringing you here and having a very good session. Not only it is not a session, it is a lesson for us. It is a lesson for everyone. See, don't talk about your age at all. Talk about your action. Move on, go forward. This is what it is being conveyed. Okay. Wonderful. The session is wonderful and we learned a lot. We should keep on moving. That's what we need to take it. Decision. Decision making is important. Make a decision and take a action now itself. Thank you very much. Thanks for a wonderful presentation. You presented well, actually. You answered a lot of questions well. And then there are a lot of things, actually. Happy, really happy. We will invite you again if it is whenever possible and whenever you feel free, and then you can give more things about your experience. Once you reach your goal, you can come and share your experience. It is our request. We really appreciate on behalf of Mind Your Mind team. I convey everyone's wishes to you, our advanced wishes for your reaching your goals. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time and this morning time. Okay, morning time you spent with us. Really, we feel proud. Thanks. Thank you, Vasanthi madam. Thanks, our team. With this, I end this session. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you. And it's very nice knowing you all. Thank you.
Happy, really happy.